Okay, so first we're gonna go over homework from Tuesday's class. So it's gonna be a Jamboard. And please just put your answer in the chat. And once we get some answers, we can move on to the answer.
One second. Let me post a link to the homework review. So you guys can join.
All right, so did anyone get the answer to this? If you did get the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat. Even if it's just a guess, that's perfectly fine.
So we're seeing some people say 3. And yeah, that's the correct answer. So first, you would use the distributive property to expand on both sides. So you would multiply 3 by r, and then 3 by -7, then 4 by 2, then 4 by -2r. Then you would get this equation. Now you would simplify like terms. So you would, on the right side, do 8 plus 4. And then you would just move the variables and their coefficients to one side, then the constants to the other, then divide. So you would get 3.
Okay, so the second question is if 5 times the quantity of x plus 1 closed quantity minus 6 times. I did post. Oh, I don't think you can see it. Here's the Jamboard link again for anyone who needs it. So 5 times the quantity x plus 1 closed quantity minus 6 times the quantity, or minus 6 times the quantity x minus 3 closed quantity plus 2 times the quantity 2x plus 1 closed quantity is going to be equal to 28. Then what is x? I see an x is equal to 1. I see 2x equals 1s. Yeah, most people are saying x is going to be equal to 1, and that's right. So you just use the distributive property and you expand each of the quantities and then you simplify, giving you 3x plus 25 is going to be equal to 28. And then you subtract 25 from both sides to get 3x is equal to 3. And then you divide by 3 on both sides to get x is equal to 1. Okay.
All right. Cindy was asked by her teacher to subtract 3 from a certain number and then divide the result by 9. Instead, she subtracted 9 and then divided the result by 3, giving an answer of 43. What would her answer have been had she worked the problem correctly? Okay, so some of you are saying 15, and you are correct. So to solve this problem, we set up this equation right here, because those are the steps she took to get 43. And then we solve for x. So her original number was 138. And then she was supposed to subtract 3 from that and then divide the result by 9. So 138 minus 3 is 135, and divide that by 9, and you get y equals 15. So that was the number she was supposed to get.
So Emma had just been given some coins by her parents. On the way to school, she lost exactly half of them, and then by retracing her steps, she found exactly 4/5 of the coins she had lost. What fraction of the coins that she received from her parents were still missing after Emma retraced her steps? And express your answer as a common fraction. So I'm seeing a lot of 1/10, and that is the correct answer. So first, we're gonna set up an expression for how many coins she has right now, or the fraction of the original amount of coins. So this kind of looks weird, like since it's typed out, but it's basically like x minus 1/2 x plus 4/5 times 1/2 x. So that's the expression. And then if we simplify, that gives us 9/10 x. So that's how many coins she has right now. And the fraction that's missing is x minus the amount she has right now. So that gives us 1/10. So good job if you got that right, which most of you did.
Okay, number 5. The denominator of a fraction is 7 less than 3 times the numerator. If the fraction is equivalent to 2/5, what is the numerator of the fraction? Okay, so I see a lot of x is equal to 14, and the answer here is going to be x is equal to 14, right? So the answer, so basically you set up like a fraction, n over 3n minus 7 is going to be equal to 2/5, and then you can do something called cross multiplication, which will give you 5n time. And if it's fine if you don't know what cross multiplication is, just make sure to like search it up and make sure that you understand what it is, because that's going to be used a lot. And you get 5n is equal to 6n minus 14, and then you solve for n, giving n is equal to 14. So yeah.
I have a question about cross multiplication real quick.
Mhm.
When do you know that you have to do cross multiplication of fractions, and when do you like have to do the other thing?
Usually you can do cross multiplication is something that like when you look at it, you'll be able to see that, okay, I have to do cross multiplication here. Like for example, right here, when you have n over 3n minus 7 is equal to 2/5, you're going to have a lot of these kinds of like examples or like kinds of problems. And so here I'd always just tell you to use cross multiplication. Wait, did you go to Mazik?
What?
Did you go to Mazik, like school? Or
I haven't been to Mazik.
oh, okay. All right, then it's fine. But usually over there they tell you to like do something else, and I don't really think that that's necessary. But just search up cross multiplication, and you can see that it's like the same kind of application every single time, almost.
Generally,
So
a
like,
pattern you can notice is that like there's a fraction over here, and then there's an equal sign. The equal sign is very important. And then so you multiply this number times this number, and then this number times this number, and then you set those two equal to each other like here.
Okay.
Okay, so let's return to this. All right, so we're going to cover measures of central tendency today. So that would include like the things you see at the bottom. So first, mean. What is mean? Well, mean is basically just another way to say the average. And to find the average of a set of numbers, first you have to find the sum of all of the numbers, and then you have to divide that by the number of numbers in the set. So let's give an example. Take this set 2, 3, 5, 6, and 9. And so we do the first step, which is to find the sum of all the numbers, and that's 25. Then we divide it by the number of numbers in the set. So there's 5 numbers in the set, as you can see. And then the average is 5, or the mean would also be 5. Okay, so let's do some practice. Get your sheet of paper and then work out the mean of each of these data sets. Don't type like your answer for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Don't type that, but just write down all of your answers, and at the end, type sum them all up, and you can type the sum of all of those means in the chat. Yeah, just find the mean of each of those data sets, and then find the sum of all of the means. You don't have to type out your answers for like each of them individually. You can just give your final answer at the end. Okay, I forgot to mention this, but you can use a calculator for this just to speed it up because we're practicing mean, not addition. All right, good job. The answer here is 157. So let's see. Here. So basically remember Step 1 is to find the sum of all the numbers. Step 2 is divide that sum by the number of numbers in each set. So if you did that, you should get 55 for the mean of the first set, 26 for the second set, 69 for the third set, and then 7 for the fourth set. And then you sum those means to get you the answer of 157. Nice job.
So next we're going to look at median, and median refers to the middle of a data set. So to find it, you first have to sort the numbers in order from least to greatest. Then you cross off numbers on each side until you have either 1 or 2 left, and those are your middle numbers. So if there's 1 left, then that number is your median. But if there's 2, you have to find the average of those 2 numbers to get your median. So for example, if our data set is the thing you see on the screen. So first notice that it's already sorted from least to greatest, so you don't have to do that. And then all you have to do is cross off numbers from both sides until only the middle number or numbers are left. So here you see that we crossed off 3 from each side, and there's 2 numbers left in the middle. So then you have to find the average of those 2 numbers, and we just add them up and then divide by 2 to get a median of 11. So we're just going to do some practice. So similar to what we did for mean, find the median instead this time. So sort all of them, then find the middle number, then give the sum of all of the medians. So don't type it out for each of these 4 questions. So find the sum and then type that in the chat. And you can't really use a calculator for this, just to let you know. So we're seeing some 93s in the chat, and good job, guys. So that is the correct answer. So for the first one, it was 53, the second one, 14, the third one, 19, and the fourth one, 7. And even if there's negative numbers, you just sort it from least to greatest.
Okay, so now on to mode. The mode is the number that occurs the most often in a data set. So an example of a data set would be 2, 3, 7, 20, 80, 3, 3, 2, 7, 7, 12, 7. And in this data set, 7 occurs 4 times. Yeah, so the mode is 7 here. And 7 occurs 4 times, which is the most often. And so 7 is the mode of the data set. And keep in mind that there can be more than one mode in a data set. There can also be no mode in a data set as well. So now on to an example. So the modes of the 3 data sets are assigned to a variable. Solve the final equation. So just find the mode of each of the equations and then type what X squared plus y divided by z is going to be in the chat.
I just have a quick question. One second. If there's like no numbers repeat themselves and just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, would there be any mode for that, or would that just be considered having no mode? Or would every single number have the mode?
No, it would just be considered no mode.
Okay, and if like two numbers have this or repeat themselves the same amount, then
Then both of them are the mode.
all right.
Okay, so I see some 10s in the chat, and the answer is going to be 10. Yeah. So the mode of 8 of the first data set is going to be 8, and the mode of the second data set is going to be 36 because that occurs twice. And then the mode of the last data set is going to be 10 because it occurs 3 times. So x squared, which is going to be 8 squared, which is 64, plus 36, which is 100, divided by 10 is going to be equal to 10.
Okay, and then the last one is range, which basically, that's the range of the numbers in the data set. And so to find the range, you have to subtract the smallest number from the largest number. So sometimes you also see the smallest number called the minimum and the largest number called the maximum. So let's take this example data set and then type in the chat which one's the largest number, which one's the smallest number. Yep, that's correct. And now what do you do to those numbers? You have to subtract the smallest from the largest. So 25 minus 2 equals 23. And the range of this data set is 23. So let's again do some practice on this. And so here, there's 3 different problems. So you can just like write your answers and then label them 1, 2, and 3. Okay, good job, everyone. So the range of the data set for number 1 would be 23 because it's basically asking you what number subtract, if you subtract 20 from what number, you get 3. So that would be 23. And then the range of the data set in the second question, that would be 90 minus 2, which is 88. And then finally, in the third data set, you have to find the mean and the range. So if you calculate that out, then you can see that the mean is clearly larger.
So next we're going to go over a 5-number summary. So a 5-number summary is a helpful representation of a data set. And it's basically just is what its name is. So just 5 numbers about a data set. And it consists of the smallest number, or the minimum, and the median, which we'll refer to as x right now. The median of the numbers before x, so not including x, but before it. And then the median of the numbers after x. And then the largest number, the maximum. So we're going to see how it works using this data set. So first, we see that the smallest number is 2. And notice this data set is sorted from least to greatest. And since there are 11 terms, the median is the 6th term, the one in the middle. So 7. And then find the median of the numbers to the left of 7. So this is called the lower quartile. And since the numbers before the median, these 5 numbers, you see the median is 5, so that's the lower quartile. And find the median of the numbers to the right of 7, and this is called the upper quartile. So, and then there's also 5 numbers to the right of the median, and the median of these is 12. And of course, the largest number is 17. So our 5-number summary for this data set would be 2, 5, 7, 12, and 17. And this 5-number summary can be used to make a box and whisker plot. So let's see what that is.
Okay, so this is what a box and whisker plot looks like. And this lets you see where your data values actually are. So about 25%, so for the corresponding data set that we've been using so far, about 25% is going to be between 2 and 5, and this is known as your first quartile. And then 25% is going to be between 5 and 7. This is known as your second quartile. 25% is between 7 and 12. This is your third quartile. And 25% is between 12 and 17. And this is your fourth quartile. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some practice problems. All right.
I had a question about the box and whisker plot. So when you're like, if you make one, does it have to be like to scale like it is on the Jamboard? So like 2 to 5, this 1 second. So like 2 to 5, it's like proportionate to the 5 to 7 and 7 to 12. Does it have to be like that, or?
No, not really. So basically the way you're going to do it is you're going to take like the smallest number, and that's going to be like your first, that's going to be the number on the like left-hand side, the leftmost side, and then you're going to take like the largest number, and that's going to be the number on like the rightmost side. So for in this example, it'd be 2 and 17, right? And then you're going to take your median, which is 7, and that's going to be like the number at the in the middle, or like that at that line. And then you're just going to take like the interquartile ranges, which will be 5 and 12, and you're just going to build your box and whisker plot that way. I believe that's how it is. I'm not sure. I don't really use the box and whisker plot that much, but that's just how you're going to build your box and whisker plot if you're going to actually make it.
And also something that I think wasn't mentioned on the slides. So the second and the third quartile combined, that's something Gopal mentioned, which is the interquartile range. So basically between like the median of the first of the numbers here and then the median of the numbers there. So between 5 and 12, and then that's the box whisker.
Yeah, okay. So problem number 1. So given the data set 2, 4, 5, 1, 18, 7, 2, 23, 7, 13, 4, 2, and 4, find the mode and the range. Give you guys like a minute for this.
Mode is wait, what's mode again?
Mode is a number that occurs the most in the data set. Okay, so he said that the mode is 4, or Charles said that the mode is 4, and that's right, the mode is 4. Or wait. Yeah, actually, yeah, the mode is actually going to be 2 and 4. Remember that there can be 2 modes and that both 2 and 4 occur the most amount of times, and they both occur the same amount of times. And the range is 22. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so problem 2. The 5-number summary of a data set is 3, 5, 6, 12, and 18. Divide the range of the data set by its median using what you know from the 5-number summary. All right, just for a hint. So remember the 5-number summary, we have the smallest number, the minimum, then we have the median of like we have the lower quartile, then we have the median of the whole data set, then upper quartile, and then we have the maximum or the largest number. And so you should divide the range of the data set. Think about how to find the range by its median. Yep, good job. The answer is 2.5. So we know that 18 is the largest number in the data set and 3 is the smallest. And to find the range, you have to subtract the smallest number from the largest number. So here the range if this data set is 15. And then the median is the third value in the 5-number summary. So that's 6 right here. And we do 15 divided by 6, which simplifies down to 2.5 or 2.5.
So our third question is, Abby scored an 84, 87, 92, and 95 on her past 4 math tests. And if she wants to have an average score of 90, what is the least score she can get on the 5th and final test? So I'm seeing a couple of different answers. but the actual answer is 92, which is what some of you guys put. So good job. And this is because, so in order to find this final score, we can find the sum of all of the scores, including that final score, and then subtract the first 4 scores to get our final score. So the average is 90, the problem tells us that. So then since there are 5 terms, the total sum of the 5 terms is 90 times 5, which is 450. And then the score of the first 4 is when they're added, it's 358. So then if you subtract that from 450, you can get 92. So that's her final score. Does that make sense to everybody? If you have a question, you can ask it right now. Okay, we can go to the next one then.
Okay, so problem 4. Given this box and whisker plot, what percent of the terms in the dataset fall between 23 and 37? Okay, I see 250, okay, 350%. And yeah, the answer is going to be 50%. And this is because 23 and 37 are both the second and third quartiles, like quartile ranges, right? And so, yeah, it's going to be 50% because it's just all of the values that are in the box.
If the number 20 was added to a data set consisting of 1, 5, 5, 7, 12, 13, 13, 16, and 18, which value changes more, mean or median? Okay, so everyone is saying mean, and that is correct. So to solve this problem, we have to find the median before you add 12 and the median after you add 12. So you can see that the original median is 12. And then after you add 20 to the data set, it changes to 12.5. And then the mean before is 10, and afterwards it jumps up by 1, so then it becomes 11. And then since the mean changed by 1 and the median only changed by 0.5, the mean had the greater change. So good job.
So next we're gonna go over stem and leaf plots really quickly. So basically a stem and leaf plot, 1 second. So they look kind of weird when you first look at them, but they're actually really simple to read and to use. So there's just like another way to write out a bunch of different numbers in a more organized format. So basically the stem, so let's look at the numbers in this like red box. So the stem is 4, and so that means that 4 is in the tens place for all of the numbers for this stem. And then the leaves on the right, those are the different ones place for the different numbers. So basically, you can see like the lines connecting it, but so our first number would be 40 because 4 is in our tens place and 0 is in our ones place. And then our second number, 4 is in the tens place again, then 1 is in the ones place, so then it would be 41. Then 4 is in the tens place, then 3 is in the ones place, so it's 43. Then same thing for the rest of the numbers, so 46, and then 49. So in the chat, can you guys put the numbers that are in like the fourth row of the stem and leaf plot? So where the stem is 7 and the leaves are 4, 5, and 9. Just like list them out. Yeah, good job. So some of you guys are saying it's 74, 75, and 79, which is correct.
I'm confused on what is stem and leaf pot
So
is.
it's like basically if you wanted to write all of these numbers out just in like a long string with commas in between, it might be like harder to see, and it would just be a list of numbers, a long list of numbers. But this stem and leaf plot, it organizes it so you can see like,
Oh, I see. Like the 4 is like 40, and then the leaf is like the. Oh, okay.
yeah. So it just like helps you read the numbers more easily.
Okay. So now the stem and leaf plot is going to be a representation of the grades a class got on their final exam. So let's read the question first. Miss Megan made a stem and leaf plot of all the grades her students scored on their final exam. She needs your help in finding the median score in her class as fast as possible. All right, so the teacher wants to find the median score of her class, and you all should find the median as quickly as you can. Remember, you don't have to convert the stem and leaf plot to actual numbers. Think about like another really fast way to do it. So I already see an 85. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna wait for some more people's answers. Okay. Yeah, the answer is going to be 85 here. And the fastest way we do this is we don't have to look at the stems. We can just look at the leaves. We can just look at the leaves and we can just find the middle term of the leaves without having to like look at the stems at all. And we find that the middle term is going to be that 5, and we look at the stem there and we get 85 as our answer. Okay, and now let's say the teacher wants to find the average score from her class. So find the mean of this data set as quickly as you can. And you can use a calculator for this because again, we're practicing finding the mean, not adding and subtracting. Okay, this is taking longer, people. Okay, you got 76.6. That's fine. I'll always double check your answers if you have time, especially. Yeah, I said you could use a calculator, so it's fine.
Okay, so Charles says he got 76.6. Did anyone else get a different answer or the same answer?
Can we have a bit more time just to finish adding up everything?
Sure, why not? I'll give you like 2 more minutes. Yeah, okay. I don't think 3.8 is going to be right. Try double checking your math, like your addition. Okay. Yeah.
You guys were right. The answer
Yeah.
is 76.
7.6. And yeah, again, it's just you're going to be adding all of the numbers, and then you're just going to divide by the number of leaves. And that'll give you 76.6% if you add all the numbers correctly.
Okay, so time for a 5-minute break like usual. So do whatever it is you need to do. And then come back at 10:26. Okay, I guess the timer does something weird if I just leave it. So break over, everyone. Let's continue on. So a quick review of everything we learned before we start testing your knowledge. The mean is the sum of the numbers divided by how many numbers are in the set, and it's another term for average. The median is the middle number of the set, and you have to make sure everything is ordered properly from least to greatest first. The mode is the number that appears the most frequently. There can be multiple modes or no modes. The range is the maximum divided by, the maximum minus the minimum. And then finally, what values make up the 5-number summary for a data set? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Yeah, I'm asking for like basically think about the 5-number summary. What numbers would you put there? Like what are they called? Does anyone remember? Okay, yeah, Charles has it right. Okay. So this is very important. 5-number summary. It has the lowest number, the median of the lower quartile, the median of the whole data set, the upper quartile, and then the largest number in the data set. You can see it on the screen as well.
So now we're just going to play a Kahoot to practice what we learned. So
Can we turn on music for this one?
Do you want the Kahoot music?
I don't know about the other people.
if you want the music, then say something in the chat. Or if you don't want to, you can also, if you like have an opinion, then you can put it in the chat. I guess we can not have music because a couple people don't want it.
All right, join the Kahoot, everyone.
Yeah, we'll wait for you. We'll wait like 1 more minute and then we can get started. So we should have more people in the Kahoot, and it's like good practice for you, so you guys should all probably join. Well, I guess we can just start. Yeah, so the time limit may have been a little short, but yeah, you just find like the average. So the next ones will probably be easier. Yay, good job. So everybody got it right. Yeah, so most of you guys got it right. Good job. So this one, there were 8 numbers in the data set. So you had to find the average of the middle 2 numbers, which I think were 8 and 10. So that's why it's 9. So the answer is actually 10. So basically, if you didn't realize, the data set wasn't in order. So you first had to put it in order, and the median was 7, and the mode was 3. So yeah, that's okay. If you can't see those numbers, they just go up by intervals of 2, starting from 2. So yeah.
I'm not sure that we went over this too well in the lesson. So basically, interquartile range, subtract the lower quartile from the upper quartile.
So the answer is 9 because the lower quartile is the second number in a 5-number summary, and then the upper one is the 4th number, or 17. So 17 minus 8 would be 9. And it's okay if you got this one wrong because we didn't go over it too much. So good job. The maximum minus the minimum is indeed the range. Okay, so when we're talking about like first, second, third, and fourth quartiles, so those aren't the lower and upper ones. These are just like the 4 quarters of the data set. So that's why it's 25%. So good job, guys. Yeah, you guys are correct. Well, so this one kind of depends on like how you interpreted this, but the median is just like in the middle of the data set. So that's all you basically have to know from this question. So this is actually false. The median and mean and median would not always be equal. The median would just be the average of the two middle numbers, not the whole thing, if there's an even number of numbers.
The first half of this was basically just designed to trick you because like imagine the data set's like 1, 2, 4, and then 1024. You know, the mean's going to be way greater than the median.
Yeah. So this is actually true. So the interquartile range is the middle 50% of the data. Wow, you guys answered really quickly. But yeah, a data set can have multiple modes or no mode. So this one might have been a little confusing, so I'll explain it. So basically, if we combine both of these like data sets, it would be threes. So like 3, 3, blah, 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 3, 3. So there's going to be 6 threes. And then also 12 sixes after that. So we'll have a lot of sixes. So I'm just like doing this because it's going to take a while if I want to write it all out. So then we would have to find the mean diameter of all this whole thing. So there's 18 rows now. So then if we add all of this up, it'd be 3 times 6 plus 6 times 12. So that's 18 plus 72, so that's 90. And then there's 18 rows in total. Oh, oops. So then that'd be 90 over 18, which is 5. So good job to the one person that got it right. So remember that natural numbers don't include 0. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then distinct means that they're all different.
This one's a pretty hard question. So don't get discouraged if you don't know what to do.
Okay, so this one is obviously a harder question. So basically, it says a mean of a data set with 9 distinct natural number terms is 12. So, and we're trying to make the largest possible term. So if we want to have like a really big term in this data set, then if the other ones before it are really small, then we can make the last term really big so that the average would still be 12. So in order to do this, we just want to make the first 8 as small as they can be. And since they have to be natural numbers and also distinct, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we have to find our last number. So this last number is, we can find this by finding the total sum of all of these numbers using the mean which they give us, and then subtracting these first 8 numbers. So the sum of all of the numbers in this data set, we find that by multiplying this number, the number of numbers, by the average. So that will give us 108. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, that would be 9 times 4, so 36. And if we subtract that, we find out that our last number is 72, which is our answer. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, yeah, so we're just basically trying to minimize the first like numbers so that our last number can be really big. Yeah, it was a little hard to solve in a short amount of time. This would be like a question you see on competitive, like math competitions. So just a hint, this one isn't sorted either. So good job, more people got it right this time. So first, it tells us that the mean, median, and the mode are all the same number. So once we find one of them, we know like the rest of them are the same. So first, we're gonna sort this data set so that it's in order from least to greatest. So it'd be 1. So, and when you're doing this, it's good if you cross out the numbers you're writing down because sometimes you can miss some and that would mess up your whole problem. So those 3's are gone. Then I'm gonna put the X at the end for now. And there's nothing in this problem that tells us that X has to be the largest number. It can be anywhere in this data set. So first we find the median. So if the X can be either after the median, before the median, or it can be the median. But we notice that in all of these cases where X is over here or on this side or is the median, it has to be 7 because 7 would be the median every time. And if x goes in the middle here, then it has to be 7 because there's no number between 7 and 7. So then we realize that the mean, median, and mode are all 7. So then we can find x by finding the total sum of all of the numbers using the mean and then the number of numbers, and then subtract the rest of the numbers to find x. So we've done this a couple of times, but basically we would just add all, do mean times the number of numbers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers, and then the mean we know is 7. So 9 times 7 is 63. And then if we add the numbers we already know, these, so that would be 7 times 3 is 21, 32, 44, 56. So if we subtract, it gives us 7, which is our answer right here. So good job if you got that one right. That was also a bit harder. Oh, and if you don't know what these symbols mean, it just means greater than or equal to. So these numbers would be like the minimum. So some of you guys got it right. So the answer would be greater than or equal to 94. And this problem is really similar to one we've already done when we were actually learning it. So basically you just find the sum of all the scores, then subtract the ones we already know. So these up here. So he has 5 tests. So you would just do 85. I'm not actually going to do this this time, but 85 times 5 minus all of these numbers added up. And you would just have to calculate this expression, which would give us this number. No, that's a minus, by the way. The code is in the bottom right of the screen. I'll just type it out if you want me to. So 1866717.
Okay, so I think the next question, there's a mistake in the answer. So we're just going to skip past it, okay? So don't put an answer for this next question. Okay, we're just going to skip it.
And you can use a calculator for this one. So the answer is $101.23. And basically, you just had to add all of the numbers you saw on the stem and leaf plot and then divide by 13. Yeah, so it's okay if you ran out of time. But one thing to note is if there's like more than one digit in the stem, like for example, there was one that was like 10 and then also 11 in the stem, you just add the digit from the leaf to the end of the number. So if it was like the stem was 11 and the leaf is 4, it would be just 114.
Yeah, they're not making that much money, unfortunately.
It did say there were small businesses, so
That's true.
yay, so good job, Gowrie. Sorry. In Australia,
I'm sorry to say that you did not win Australia.
and whatever that is. Good job, guys.
Okay. So now,
Okay, so now we're going to do some like AMC kind of questions. Let me open up the Jamboard.
what is this? Okay, that's interesting.
And it's okay if you guys can't like answer all of these because these
we're
are
just going
more
to-
hard problems.
Yeah.
Right. I shall put the link in the chat.
Yeah, so, all right, so the first question. This stem and leaf plot shows the final score of the winning team over 12 different football games in a season. Find the absolute difference between the mean and median of the scores. So you guys can put the median and mean on like sticky notes, and then just go to like the next page and then write your answer for the absolute difference on a sticky note.
You can do a text box if you want to. As long as your answer is on there, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, so I see people are saying that 8 is the median and that 31 is the mean. Actually, I haven't seen many people put the. Actually, I've only seen one person say the mean. So, all right, I'll wait till more people write the mean. Can we stop with the laser pointers?
Can we use the laser like if there's a stem and leaf plot to like cross out the
You could just like copy it down really quickly because if you cross it out, then
Yeah.
other people won't be able to see it.
Yeah, if you use like the
Okay.
laser pointer, it's kind of distracting to everyone else as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are saying that 8 is the mean, or not, 8 is the median and 31 is the mean. So find the absolute, and on the next slide, put the absolute difference between these two.
What's the is the absolute difference like the absolute value of the difference?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be 23. Right?
Okay, good job. And now we're going to go to this one. So the mean of a data set with 11 distinct natural number terms is 11. And what is the largest possible term in the set? So we went over a similar problem in the Kahoot. And remember, you just want to make the first couple of values as small as possible. We're going to skip over this slide because it's kind of a weird activity. So I'll give a few hints. So 121, there are 11 terms in this data set, and then the mean is also 11. So that tells you that the sum of all of the terms is 121. The largest possible term cannot be 121 because then that leaves no space for the other terms. Okay, so this is the sum of all the terms in the data set. Okay, so we want this number right here to be as large as possible, which means we must make all the other numbers as small as possible. And they also have to be distinct natural number terms. So as you can see here, natural numbers are like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we want to make them as small as possible, and they must be distinct, so we can't just repeat 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then what number is going to be here? Remember, the sum of all the terms is going to be 121.
All 10, 1, and all the numbers leading up to 10 sum up to 55. So the largest possible number is 66, right?
That's correct. So good job, everyone who got 66. 121 minus 55 equals 66. So this number here has to be that.
So first of all, please don't go ahead since we're like going through this together, and we want to give a chance for everybody to be able to solve it on their own. So our first question is, what is the sum of the mean, median, and mode of the numbers 2, 3, 0, 3, 1, 4, 0, 3? And once you get your answer, you can just put the letter. So I see a few C's, and that is the correct answer. So if we just go over really quickly, it'd be, if we sort these, it'd be 1 and 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, and then 4. So our mode we can see is 3, and our median, so we have 8 numbers, so we'd find the average of these two, which is 2.5. So it was 2.5, yeah. And then our mean, we just find the average of these. So these numbers add up to 16, and there's 8 numbers, so 16 over 8 is 2. And when you add that, you get 7.5, which is C. So good job, guys.
Okay. The mean, median, and unique mode of the two positive integers 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, and 6, 6, 7, and x are all equal. What is the value of x?
And so unique mode just means like there's only one mode in this data set. There can't be two modes.
Okay, so yeah, everyone is saying that the answer is B. And for number, what is this? Wait, what question is this? Is this number 3? Or, oh no, this is number 4. Yes, okay. So for number 4, the answer is going to be B. And, oh, okay. So let's go through this together. So the mean is just the average of all the numbers. So let's first count how many numbers there are. So there are 7 numbers, I think, in total. So 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. 24 plus 7 is 31. And 31 plus x. All right, so 31 plus x divided by 7 is our mean. And this is going to be equal to... Okay, that's fine, Charles. So the median of these 7 numbers, so the median of 7 numbers is going to be the 4th number, and for the most part, it already has the numbers in least to greatest order, but we don't know where x is in this, so we can't really assume anything for the median since we don't know what x is right now. So we can look at the mode. and it says that the unique mode of the numbers. So that means that 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, and x are all going to be equal. So that means that x can't be 7 and that our unique mode is going to be 6. And that our mode is going to be 6, right? Wait, 1 second. I think I messed up somewhere.
Wouldn't it just be easier to find the mode since like
Mm-hmm. All
Well,
right,
the
so
mode-
The
the
question
mode
is
is,
asking you for the value of x, not for the value of the mean, median, and unique mode.
oh yeah.
yeah. So the mode here is going to be 6, I'm pretty sure, because it has to be a unique mode. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be 6 is equal to, and then the mean of all the numbers is going to be 3 plus 4 plus 5, and that's going to be 12 plus 6, that's 18. 18 plus 6 is 24. 24 plus 7 is 31. Then 31 plus x, all divided by 7 is going to be equal to, oh yeah, okay, wait, so you guys are actually not right. It's not B. I'm pretty
Everyone
sure.
just found the mode.
Yeah, all of you guys put the mode. I'm pretty sure it's not actually that. Okay, yeah, so what I did was right. It's not actually going to be B. So here's an example right here. I remember earlier in the morning you asked about here. Charles, I can put the answer in the chat if that'll help you, or the question in the chat if that's going to help you. I don't know what to do. So here's an example where you can use like cross multiplication. Stop with the laser pointer, please. So 31 plus x over 7 is equal to 6 over 1. And here's where you can use cross multiplication and you get 31 plus x is equal to 42. Right, and then you subtract 31 from both sides to get x is equal to 11. So a lot of you guys put the mode, which is 6, and yeah, a lot of you guys put the mode, and I think some of you also just saw other people putting 6 and thought that that was right. But the answer is going to actually be 11. Okay, does everyone get why it's 11 and not 6?
All right, let's move on to this problem. So the average age of the 6 people in room A is 40. The average age of the 4 people in room B is 25. If the two groups are combined, what is the average age of all the people? All right, those of you putting D are indeed correct. Not sure what you mean by what was free, but okay, if you want to clarify, go ahead. And then so to solve this problem, the 6 people in room A have an average age of 40. And so then you multiply 6 times 40 to get the sum of all of their ages. So then the sum of everyone's age in room A is 240. And you do the same thing for room B, 4 times 25, the sum of their ages is 100. And so now say they're all combined into one room together, room C, okay? And then now you have to add the sum of all of their ages in room C together. And so then you also, then to find the average age of the people in room C, then you have to divide that by the total number of people. So that's 6 plus 4, which is 10. And then this gets us 340 divided by 10, which of course equals 34.
So in Teresa's first 8-bit basketball games, she scored 7, 4, 3, 6, 8, 3, 1, and 5 points. In her 9th game, she scored fewer than 10 points, and her points per game average for the 9 games was an integer. Similarly, in her 10th game, she scored fewer than 10 points, and her points per game average for the 10 games was also an integer. So what is the product of the number of points she scored in the 9th and 10th games? And just a reminder, integers that means like it doesn't have a decimal part or a fraction part. It's like a whole number. I'll give you like 2 more minutes for this one. Okay, so this question might have been a bit more tricky, but so the answer was actually B, 40. And so to explain why this is the case, so first of all, we're gonna try to understand what this problem is saying. So in her basketball games, these were her scores. And right now it doesn't matter if they're in order or not. And she played 2 more games after these, and we're gonna make the score for her 9th game X and the score for her 10th game Y. So the question is asking for the product of the number of points she scored in the 9th and 10th games. So at the very end, we're gonna do x times y. So first of all, it tells us that both of these two numbers, they're obviously integers under 10, and the average of these 9 numbers is an integer, and then the average of all 10 of these numbers is also an integer. So first, we're going to try to figure out what x is. So let's first add all of these scores that we already know. So that would be 11, 14, 20, 28, 31, 32. So 37. So the first 8 games, the scores add up to 37. And now we know that 37 plus x divided by 9 is some kind of integer, and x has to be lower than 10. So we know x is a positive number, or I mean, it's not negative, so it has to be higher than 37. And when we divide by 9, it has to be an integer. So our next multiple of 9 that's larger than 37 is 45. And if we choose a bigger multiple than 45, then x wouldn't be lower than 10 anymore. So we know that x has to be 45 minus 37, which is 8. That's the only way we can make x lower than 10 and also have the average be an integer. So now we put 8 here. So now to find y, we just do something very similar. So now we know that the sum of these 9 numbers is 45. And we know that 45 plus y divided by 10 has to be some kind of integer. And our next biggest multiple of 10 is 50. And we can't go higher than this or lower than this, because if we go higher, then y wouldn't be lower than 10 anymore. If we go lower, well, it's impossible for her to score a negative score. So we know it has to be, that y has to be 5, since that's 50 minus 45. So now we know, I'm just going to move this really quickly. Now we know that it has to be 5. So 8 times 5 gives us 40, which is our answer, B. So did that make sense? If it didn't, or if you have a question, now would be a good time to ask. I don't know what somebody is scribbling, but yeah, okay, we'll move on.
My Jamboard lagged out, so I'm just gonna follow along so you can let me do.
Okay, we'll only do this question because class is almost over. And you can do the rest of the questions on your own time if you want to. And we have the answer key on our slideshow that you'll have access to.
I know. Candy sales from the Boosters Club from January through April are shown. What were the average sales per month in dollars? Okay, since it's like 11:29, I'm just gonna go through this question like pretty quickly. And if you guys have any like questions about it, you can ask. You can like unmute and just ask. But it's since it's 11:29, I'm just gonna go through the question. So basically, it's just asking for the mean or like the average sales in months or the average sales per month, and that's just going to be the sum of all of the values given by the bar graph. So that's so January they sold 100, so that's 100 plus February they sold, I think that's 60, and then in March they sold 40, and in April they sold 120, and then you divide this by 4. Oh my. Then you divide this by 4 since there's 4 months, and you just add these quickly. You'll get like 320, and then 320 divided by 4 is 80. Is that one? So are there any questions about that, or like was that pretty clear? Okay. Okay, are there any like questions at all? Like about anything that showed up today? Okay, so as usual, you guys are going to have homework, like 5 questions as always, and if you guys it'll be posted in Google Classroom, but here's the link for anyone who needs it. And again, you can just like print it out, write your answers, and then submit like an attachment, or you can just open like in a new tab and then just write directly on it. Either way is fine. Okay, so I think that if nobody has any questions, I think that like concludes class today. See you guys tomorrow. Same link, same time.
Yeah, tomorrow's our last class for pre-algebra. So, bye.
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 Have a good day.
Bye. Wait, so we won't have any more classes after tomorrow?
No, you will. If you signed up for, not for pre-algebra, but if you signed up for like other classes that you want to take, like algebra or geometry, like counting and probability maybe, then you would have those classes like the next week.
Yeah.
Okay, then bye.
All right, see you.